What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld. Today we're going to be talking about how to create the best offense in Madden 21. A lot of you guys had a lot of favorable input about, the defensive video that I made and the guidelines with the abilities and how I explain certain things. So you were asking about the offensive version. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the things that are going on. Number one, I want you guys to understand, for both my veterans and the newcomers alike, the number one thing that you have to understand about Madden Ultimate Team is abilities, all right? And the reason that I'm saying veterans alike is because some of the veterans that I have here at this channel, you guys still think that certain abilities does things that it really just doesn't do. Now, whether you're running around with, a full line, an offensive line of abilities, we've already been there. We've tried that out. We've seen some things, but the game has changed, right? So because it's changed and the players have gotten better, you don't really typically need as many abilities. Like right now, Jimbo has, Edge Protector on and that's it. And he actually, like I said, he does his job to a point, because if you're getting turbo blitzed off the edge, you have to remember the computer can't respond to the user like that. The nano detection is a natural thing that comes off of, pretty much the computer is being rushed. But when it's a user blitz, you'll notice if somebody's rushing you up the middle or whatever they're doing, unless you slide protect or block properly, they won't pick it up. So that edge protector is just for generic blitzes and things like that, right? So number one, when you're looking at your offense, what is the most important thing? This game is not as similar to Madden 20 as many people think. It's actually a better game, but it's still not good, but it's better than 20. It's weird the way I just explained that. It's like, you kind of stink, but you don't stink, but you still need to take a shower. Like, the game doesn't make sense, but we're going to make sense out of it right now. And you're going to understand it when you leave. You're going to be like, yo, that guy's a complete idiot, but he's right. That's pretty much what's going to happen once I break everything down for you, right? So here we go. Jimbo Covert, who I showed you guys maybe last weekend when he came out. Yo, I overspent for him, to kind of show you guys what was going on as far as why he would be one of the better players. Now, I don't need to go through each individual player. All I need to tell you is that all these players right here on my O-line have proven themselves. This guy does not have a power-up because people are way too greedy and they want like 300 or 400K for his power-up, and I'm not doing that. Also, because he's 6'9" and big, he also does his job relatively well, so you can just get him as his 50 card and utilize him if you want to do that. Now, I'm going to show you Jimbo Covert's his numbers and attributes just to give you an idea of what's going on, right? The 95 run block is beautiful. 95 run block power, run block footwork, all that stuff is good, but you're looking for players that can get 99s ideally in your lineup, right? As you continue to boost, like we went from Walter Jones to Orlando Pace to Jimbo, and we only got better. Now, he's undersized and he's smaller than Pace, but he gets really, really grisly in the run game, and he's an unbelievable pass blocker. So I don't technically need edge protector because he's maxed out with 99 pass block. I just do it because he lights up when people are coming in off the edge. Now remember, if I needed to, I could always take this ability off of him and put it someplace else. That is also a very, very key thing to understand. How do you manipulate the way you use your ability points? What players really need it, what players don't? He does not need it. I just leave it on him. Just so everybody's clear. I do not, bro, this guy does not need an ability at all. It's just there to look pretty. That's it. All right? His numbers speak for itself. Now, this is also the play fake chem, which I highly recommend. And I don't recommend a lot of stuff, but that play fake, it be having your team playing crazy with play action and the routes and all the stuff that these players do. So I recommend that, and that's why he's getting that boost to a 99 pass block. All right, so look, let's back out of this now that you've seen some of those numbers and you kind of understand. Everybody else that's on the, on my offensive line, they have similar numbers. I do want to point out, I am a 49er theme team, and Randy Cross is naturally a right guard, but he's at center because I just wanted to open up more spots for my Niner theme team. Okay, when you put him out of position, EA Sports thinks that you should drop his rating because although he has a secondary position because he was just as good at it, EA is like, yo, let's just tack off some points, bro, randomly. Like, let's just be idiots and just let the player lose points for for whatever. These are the type of things that you're gonna have to learn how to deal with. A lot of the stuff that goes on does not make sense, but it's part of the game. And I'm just gonna explain it to you the way that I had to logically explain it to myself. a lot of what they're doing does not make sense, because if he has a secondary position, he should not lose the overall, okay? Because if you're granted that, that means you were just as good at the other position. For instance, Larry Allen, we know he's one of the, bro, this guy's probably the best right guard ever in the history of the game. A savage, but he played other positions very, very well. But if you move him, he's going to lose his overall. Very unfortunate, but that's what the situation is. So you can go ahead and review these players, and you'll notice Larry Allen, being one of the older cards, he still has suitable numbers at that right guard position. Okay? Now, once you figure out your O-line, you have to decide whether an ability is going to be something you want to utilize. But if you have this same exact O-line, you do not need abilities. Lower level cards, you're going to need to put abilities on some players. Like if you're just coming into MUT and you can't afford a lot of cards, get the cheaper right tackle and left tackle, and you're going to have to put edge protector on them because they have lower ratings and dudes are going to be screaming at you defensively. But if you're able to get these cards and you're building your team up, you can get away with having better overalls without abilities. Next thing, the tight end position. I only use one. Vernon Davis, best tight end, but for me, he's a 49er theme team. We could check to see the other teams he played for, the Broncos and the Washington football team, so that's cool. Okay, because honestly, if you wanted to get really, really disgusting out there, you could get him and Cooley, run a Washington football team, and have, these guys at super fast speeds. And then not only that, you could also have McLaurin at a 98 speed. If you wanted to get crazy with it, that's your decision. All right? Just food for thought right there. So once you start to look at the tight end position, the next thing you have to figure out is, what do I want to do? What makes this card decent, right? For me, I run deep in, because usually the tight end is going to catch the ball within the numbers or just at the numbers. So it's going to help him to catch it. Not only that, if you want to streak him and try to moss dudes, deep in, deep out is very, very highly, recommended, because it'll help them to go ahead and catch the ball a little bit more efficiently in these areas. So that's something that you might want to look at. All right. With that being said, Darren Waller, is he recommended? I'm going to tell you this right now, just so that we're on the same page. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Darren Waller sucks. I know he's 6'6" and it looks good. Cooley and Vernon Davis are the best tight ends in the game. Right now, as we speak, they are the best. Todd Heap is pretty good, but he's not as fast. These guys are good. They're really, really good. And just so you guys understand, because he has a theme team, he's at 93 speed, so he would be there for all those other teams as well. And if you could get him to that speed, GG's in the chat. Because he also run blocks, so if you start moving him around and doing weird stuff, it can be a nightmare for your opponent. So I would recommend those things. Deep in, deep out. Make sure he's on a theme team. If you're going to utilize him, again, we are a 49er theme team, so that's why it is the way that it is, with the way that he is at a 93 speed right there. Next thing, if you are playing Madden 21, get yourself a gunslinger quarterback. Look, any strong arm QB, I don't care who it is, because it's only 1 AP for gunslinger, just put it on him. Gunslinger will change your life. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I pull up at your mom's crib, I'm going to change her life too. It doesn't really matter. Get that ability on. You cannot throw the football without it. You can, it just doesn't make any sense. Do I recommend Josh Allen? Yeah, kinda, because the dude is good. Like he makes certain plays, but he will overthrow the ball randomly for no apparent reason. I'm not saying that it's the best situation, but he also has speed. So he can run for a first down and do a lot of other things. So strong arm QB, gunslinger. That's it. Very, very simple. You don't got to worry about nothing else. You don't got to, try to figure this out, whatever. You go ahead and you grab a quarterback who has a strong arm and has gunslinger. Everything else doesn't matter. Reggie Bush, receiving back. He's ideal. If you can get him on any of your theme teams, I still think he's one of the best running backs in the game. All right. What do I have on him? Because he's a receiving back, we go ahead and give him backfield master. 1 AP, you get those extra, hot routes and everything from the backfield, and it's a beautiful thing to have on any of your receivers. Obviously, if you still got Barry Sanders, it's 2 for backfield master, which is why we had to eventually get rid of Barry Sanders and just go with Reggie Bush. Also, he's 96 speed on a theme team with 97 excel, which is why you see many people utilize him. All right? Finally, getting into the fullback, well, not finally, but we're going to get to the wide receivers last. Mike Allstott's the best fullback in the game. He'll just randomly run something back for 6 on the kickoff. And most people kick it to the fullback to prevent kickoff returns, and I run it back for 6 anyway. Doesn't really matter. All right, there's no real rhyme or reason. I don't run a lot of, you know, running plays other than power O, maybe out of eye tight. He's the best fullback in the game right now. Brandon Ayuk, okay, and Chad Johnson. Brandon Ayuk is only good because he's on a 49er theme team. So if this is your theme team, you should have him on the squad. Why? Because he is unbelievable. Even without a power up, this man has 96 speed and 97 excel. He also gets route technician for 2. Bro, route technician, you got to have at least 1. If you got 2, GG's, because they're going to have, you know, that 1 step ahead or whatever crap they got in order to stop it if you put them on the right routes. You cannot defend it with time. If you give your opponent time and they have route technician, they will dot you. Just so everybody's aware of that. This is one of the most critical abilities on offense that most players will have at least 1 of. Your job is to figure out which player has it and to watch every move that he does, because he's going to be wide open. And I'm telling you right now, it's not a good feeling. Brandon Ayuk on the theme team, it just works. All right. Calvin Johnson, I've told you guys, can you moss with him? Yes. I've shown you guys numerous clips on GmiasWorld and stuff like that. Very, very difficult to do, however. It's a lot more different than Madden 20 was. So he will moss people, but it's not as consistent for most people. I can do it when I want. I don't do it a lot because sometimes EA will just randomly give the guy a predetermined pick and I just don't want to deal with it. But I do believe that having a deep threat like this, when a guy comes out running stock cover 3 and you have deep out on him or deep in, whichever way you want to throw the ball to him, he's going to moss that player. I actually mossed 3 people earlier today on a regular ridiculous play. I just threw it up in the air into 3 people and he mossed them all. He just lit up and did it. So I would recommend having at least 1 big receiver. There's no better one right now than Calvin Johnson at this time. Obviously, Randy Moss will be here soon. It's going to be GG's in the chat. All right. Finally, Chad Johnson is the best overall wide receiver at this point in Madden. Later on, when we do an updated version of how to create the best offense, it'll probably be Randy Moss. But right now, this guy meets all the thresholds. He gets route tech for 2. He gets the outside and slot apprentice for 1. He has 95, 95, and 92s with the route running. He is unbelievable. He's just slow. That's the only thing. If he was faster with these numbers, it would be wild. If he played for more teams to give us an opportunity to, whatever. Why did he go to the 49ers, bro? Dude's selfish, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you need those specific abilities to be great offensively. And that's pretty much what you're going to need. That's the initial tools that you're going to need on offense to be great in Madden 21. I told you about play fake. Make sure you look to that. The next step is to make sure that you have sprinter maxed out on all your players to give them the boost. And then finally, you got to pick the right theme team. If you pick the right theme team, that's half the battle. I'm going to see you guys and girls next time. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. Until next time, one love, y'all.